issues there. That's fine.
Why people are having so much network issues? Okay, I think somebody else is joined. Darth is joined. So I've deliberately asked, Arpita, you might find it weird, but I have to keep my camera switched off because of
Yeah.
the
Okay.
voice quality, because I think there is some issue with the network.
Okay.
So let us start. There's a lot to cover in mutual funds. I want to finish it by maximum by tomorrow after taking a lot of time. Anyway, so quantitative measures of fund manager performance. Now here we have understood the concept of mutual fund. Mutual fund is basically you are giving your money to the fund manager to invest on your behalf. Now he is doing something for you. So now you and obviously you are paying him money. And probably you're compromise a little bit on your return because you have to pay a fund manager fees as well. So to know whether your fund manager has done a good job or he's been sloppy, we will have to look both at absolute return and relative return. Absolute return is a simple mathematical calculation based on the initial value and later value, whereas relative return will tell you how he has performed vis-a-vis other funds, obviously in the similar category. So that's why you have a benchmark. So your fund manager might say, see, I've done a very good job. I've generated 20% return for you. But if you compare with the benchmark has generated 25% return. So your fund manager basically has not done a very good job. Okay, so you have to look at the absolute return as well as the relative return for looking at the fund manager's performance. So how did a scheme perform vis-a-vis its benchmark or the peer group? These are known as relative return. Promises of outperformance or underperformance of a fund manager need to be validated through deeper performance review. And AMCs and trustees are expected to conduct such periodic review of relative returns as per SEBI guideline. So it is just like your competitive exam, because what you do or how much you score does not matter. It is more important as to how others has performed. So for mutual fund performance also, you will have to look at how the other funds have performed vis-a-vis your fund. And obviously we have seen that risk and rewards are directly related. So if your fund manager is taking more risk, he should aim for getting more returns. So the underlying principle is that the return ought to compensate with the risk taken. So higher the risk, the higher should be the return. So a fund manager who has taken higher risk ought to earn a better return to justify the risk taken. So that is known as by the Sharpe ratio. Sharpe ratio uses the standard deviation. So here you look at two returns, RS and RF. Now RS is the return on your fund, return on your scheme. So RS is your return on the scheme. RF is the return on the benchmark or risk-free return. Okay. Divided by the standard deviation will give you Sharpe ratio. So it takes the risk return as well as the return which the scheme has generated. Okay, so for example, scheme is risk-free return is 5%, scheme is generated 7%. Sharpe, standard deviation is 0.5. Sharpe ratio is the risk premium, so which is 4%. And whereas there is another measure for generating return on equity, which is risk-free return, scheme return minus risk-free return divided by beta. Beta is only relevant to diversified equity. Therefore, alpha should ideally be evaluated only for equities. Higher the Sharpe ratio, better the scheme is considered. So higher the return compared to your risk-free return, better is the scheme. Now you have also, you can use Treynor ratio. Treynor ratio, as I told you, uses beta. So risk-free return minus scheme return divided by beta will give you the Treynor ratio. But Treynor ratio is only relevant to your equity scheme. Therefore, Treynor ratio is only for equity scheme. So you have two ratios, Sharpe ratio and Treynor ratio. Both compare the return on risk-free investment and the scheme returns, and divided by either by standard deviation, which is relevant for both equity and debt, or by beta, which is equivalent only to, which is relevant only to equity investment. So alpha also gives you the measure of the fund manager performance. So we have seen this. Beta of market by definition is 1, and in index scheme mirrors the index. The index scheme 2 would have a beta of 1 and is ought to earn the same return as the market. However, if your fund manager is active, then you might get a better return. The difference between the index fund return and the market return, which is a tracking error. So non-index schemes 2 would have a level of return called optimum return, which is in line with the higher or lower beta as compared to the market. Now, after having understood most of it, let us now take a quiz. What is fundamental analysis? Anyone? Okay, please reply one by one. Siddharth, can you reply to this question? What is fundamental analysis? We have seen it many times.
Ma'am, fundamental analysis tells about the
Siddharth has to answer that question. Yes, Siddharth. What is fundamental analysis?
I'm not remembering.
Why are you looking so lost, Siddharth? तो क्या पढ़ रहे हो आप बोल रहे थे ये रिवाइज कर रहे हैं. फंडामेंटल तो इतना फंडामेंटल है, कितना अच्छे से देखा था हमने. क्या है राहुल फंडामेंटल एनालिसिस? इसलिए करते हैं फंडामेंटल एनालिसिस. बताओ राहुल. फंडामेंटल का क्या मतलब हुआ? What do you understand by the word fundamental? Anyone? Fundamental का क्या मतलब है?
Fundamental means basic.
Basic, हाँ. So fundamental analysis क्या होगा? राहुल, अब आप बता सकते हो fundamental analysis क्या होगा? अच्छा, इसको छोड़ो.
Fundamental analysis is analysis, industry analysis, situation analysis.
तो अगर हम कोई शेयर खरीद रहे हैं तो हमें क्या क्या चीजें देखने की जरूरत है?
मेरी आवाज जा रही है?
हाँ,
मेरी आवाज जा रही थी?
हाँ, आवाज तो आ रही है आपकी. बताइए.
मैंने आंसर बताया, सुनाई दिया आपको?
हाँ, मुझे सुनाई दिया, पर वो पूरी बात नहीं बता रहा है ना, इसलिए मैं दोबारा पूछ रही हूँ.
क्या मैम?
किस कंपनी का शेयर आप खरीदोगे? कैसे पता चलेगा कि कौन सा शेयर खरीदना चाहिए? अगर कंपनी
मैम दो एनालिसिस, फंडामेंटल और टेक्निकल एनालिसिस के थ्रू हम पता करते हैं.
वेरी गुड. तो ये कौन सी एनालिसिस है? इवैल्यूएशन ऑफ प्राइस वॉल्यूम चार्ट. ये कौन सी एनालिसिस है?
मैम टेक्निकल है.
ये टेक्निकल है. करेक्ट. टेक्निकल है. फंडामेंटल एनालिसिस हैज टू डू विद द वर्किंग ऑफ the company rather than the price, the market price of the company, right? So this is wrong. Fundamental analysis is the evaluation of strength of company. Price volume chart, no, that is technical analysis. Fundamental analysis is about the financials of the company. और दो अप्रोचेस हमने देखी थी, एक बॉटम अप अप्रोच देखी थी, एक टॉप डाउन देखी थी. सो टॉप डाउन में आप क्या देखेंगे? ये क्वेश्चन थोड़ा ठीक नहीं है, बट फिर भी बताइए, टॉप डाउन अप्रोच का क्या मतलब है? टॉप डाउन में क्या देखेंगे आप पहले?
Ma'am, in top down, we'll first look at an economy,
Simple.
Correct.
then we'll go downwards to like towards a firm or an individual.
करेक्ट. इंटरनेशनल एसेट कौन सा है इसमें? इंटरनेशनल एसेट क्लास रियल एस्टेट, इक्विटी, डेट, गोल्ड. कौन बताएगा? अर्पिता, इंटरनेशनल कौन सा एसेट है?
I'm thinking. Let me think.
मैम रियल एस्टेट.
No, नहीं. Real estate नहीं हो
रियल
सकता.
एस्टेट आप जो है यूएस में जाके रियल एस्टेट खरीद सकती हैं.
Ma'am,
Obviously.
is it equity?
I think, ma'am,
Equity and gold. I'm confused between two.
मैम गोल्ड
इक्विटी तो डोमेस्टिक भी होगा, इंटरनेशनल भी हो सकता है.
गोल्ड होगा.
Right? गोल्ड है इंटरनेशनल एसेट.
yes, ma'am.
गोल्ड आप चाहे यहाँ खरीदो चाहे यूएस में खरीदो, एग्जिस्टिंग मार्केट रेट पे उसका वैल्यू फिक्स होगा, राइट?
Okay. Yeah.
Gold is an international asset. So what is more appropriate measure of return for scheme in existence for several years?
Annualized return.
मैम CAGR.
CAGR, correct. Loads and taxes may account for differences between scheme returns and investor
True.
return.
True.
Correct. अच्छा, ये तो वही है CAGR. Risk can be measured by
Any of the above.
Any
any. Yes. But difference क्या है? Standard variation, variance और बीटा में कुछ difference है?
Ma'am, beta accounts for equity only.
Beta can be calculated only for equity. Now this brings us to scheme selection. तो हमने देखा there are many schemes in the mutual fund market, पर हम कौन सी scheme select करेंगे? तो क्या क्या देखना पड़ेगा हमें scheme से selection के लिए?
First we'll look at generated returns.
Hmm.
We'll also look that the scheme is in line with our expectations or not.
Correct. The first thing we
with
have
our
to look
goal.
at is whether our investment objective meet with the investment objective of the scheme.
The scheme or not. And second
Yes.
is we'll also look at the way that they have invested or they are going to invest. So-
Yeah, that all will come later, but first we will look at the investment objective.
Second, we'll look at returns which the scheme has generated.
Yeah. So we will look at two things: the risk the scheme will take, and the investment objective. Only when it is lined with our own investment objective, that is the scheme which we'll choose. Okay. So we'll have to look at the risk, and we know risk and return are inversely directly proportional. So we'll look at the risk category. So if you look at your money market funds or the liquid scheme are at the bottom of the risk pyramid. Why so? Why do you think there is a very little risk in these kind of schemes or these kind of investments?
Ma'am, in money market instrument.
They are money market instrument and shorter maturity.
Ma'am,
Ma'am,
there are
because
risk
they are
of
less
interest rate.
exposed to volatility, I think. So this is also one thing that leads to
Yeah,
less
yeah.
Ma'am,
risk.
inflation.
इन्फ्लेशन कुछ नहीं है यहाँ पे, वोलेटिलिटी कम है, छोटा ड्यूरेशन है, दैट्स व्हाई.
Okay, ma'am.
फिर उसके बाद गिल्ड फंड्स कहाँ इन्वेस्ट करेंगे?
Government
Government securities.
गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटी. सो ऑब्वियसली वो भी रिस्क फ्री इन्वेस्टमेंट है. उसके बाद डाइवर्सिफाइड डेट फंड्स. Where will diversified debt funds invest in?
Ma'am, different
Different
type
type
of
of
debt.
asset classes.
Debt, yeah. So if that diversifying, as we've seen, diversification reduces the risk. So
Minimize
there,
the risk.
yeah, different kind of debt, so they will be less risky than high yield fund. Now, why high yield funds will be very risky?
Ma'am, because most of the times they invest in low rated debts.
Correct.
So
correct.
return will be definitely high, but
Yes.
risk will be higher as well.
Yes, correct. So we have seen this high yielding debt sometimes also invest in lower rated debt instruments. The rating is lower, so therefore the risk is high. Then in between you have capital protection oriented fund. So this has a defined return. They're saying whatever it is, we will give you at least the principal. So capital protection oriented fund. Then you have monthly income plan. Now monthly income plan, invest in debt security with a small allocation in also in equity, but the allocation in equity is very low, so that's why they are less risky. Then we have seen balance funds. Balance funds try to invest, balance between the risk and return by investing in different asset classes, equity and debt. And we have seen flexible asset allocation is riskier than fixed allocation. Okay, so your flexible asset allocation would have a higher risk than your fixed asset allocation. Then you have equity fund. Diversified equity with lesser than it has lesser risk than sector fund, which has lesser risk, which has more risk than equity income or fund yield. So if you look at in equity, dividend yield funds are funds which invest in large cap companies and dividend paying companies. Okay, so their risk is less than value fund. Then you have index fund. Index fund will invest in the securities which are part of the index. Diversified equity fund would invest in many kind of stocks. Growth fund, where will growth fund invest?
Ma'am, equity.
Equity.
अरे तो इक्विटी ही है, कौन से टाइप की इक्विटी में? इक्विटी में ये सारे फंड्स है ना?
Yes, ma'am. They will invest in small cap companies, shares of small cap companies.
Yes. ग्रोथ का मतलब क्या है? They are expecting capital appreciation. So बहुत ज्यादा capital appreciation आपका large cap में नहीं हो पाएगा. It would be in the mid cap or the small cap. So growth funds target companies which have a high growth rate. Okay? So this is the risk. So look at this chart. This is a representation of risk and therefore return as well. So you can have debt fund, hybrid fund, or equity fund depending on where they are investing. The risk can be measured. You can see most of your equity fund have higher risk than hybrid fund, which has higher risk than debt fund. And equity we have seen gives you return only in the long run, and therefore when you're investing in equity, you should look at a time horizon of more than 3 years. And if you are patient, we have seen this when we are looking at equity selection. We have seen how Wipro has given returns, and I don't know if you have done that research. I'd asked you to research on the returns generated by maybe Infosys or Colgate-Palmolive. You will see that all these companies have generated very good return in the long run. So it is better to consider equity funds when investment horizon is adequately long. Investing in equities with a horizon of 2 years can be dangerous. Ideally, the investor should look at 3 years. When an investment horizon is 5 years and above, the probability of losing money is equity is negligible. Now we have seen active funds versus passive fund. Which will be more risky? Active passive में ज़्यादा risky कौन होगा?
My passive fund will be more risky. Passive.
Passive है more risky. अगर आप एक जगह बैठे हो तो ज़्यादा risk है कि कम risk है?
Ma'am, active will be risky क्योंकि passive they are investing just in indices. So,
Correct.
एनालिसिस करना पड़ेगा मैम.
हाँ, एक्टिव जो है रोज एनालिसिस करके रोज इधर उधर उछल रहे हैं ना, सो गिरते हैं.
और मैम वॉलेटिलिटी भी तो ज्यादा है एक्टिव में, शेयर सवारी कर रहा है
तो वो हमारे शेयर सवार हैं, वो ही गिरेंगे है ना. तो गिरते हैं शेयर सवारी मैदान जंग में, तो वो हमारे शेयर सवार हैं, वो ही गिरेंगे. पैसिव क्या है, एक जगह आराम से बैठे हैं, एक बार इन्वेस्ट कर दिया, उसके बाद शांति में बैठे हैं फॉर लॉन्गर टर्म. सो पैसिव फंड्स आर लेस रिस्की देन एक्टिव फंड्स. एंड एक्टिव क्योंकि एक्टिव है, कुछ ना कुछ करते रह रहे हैं, तो उनके एक्सपेंसेस भी ज्यादा होंगे. Obviously, the probability, because risk is high, the probability of generating return is also high, but they can be risky and more expensive. To invest in an active fund is bearing a higher cost for fund management and higher risk. Therefore, returns are to be higher. Passive funds, index funds are passive fund. Investors who are more interested in more modest objective of having an equity growth component in their portfolio, rather than more aggressive objective of beating the equity market benchmark, would be better off investing in an index fund. Okay. कि कुछ लोग हैं जो आप में से रिस्क लेंगे of moving out of your own city, getting out of your comfort zone. तो जिंदगी के 4-5 साल या 3-4 साल बहुत मुश्किल होंगे आपके लिए. But obviously your growth would be better than people who have chosen to stay in their own city, जहाँ पे बहुत कंफर्ट है. they are not getting out of their comfort zone. तो पैसिव वो है कि जहाँ है ठीक है, तो पैसिव वो है, तो ऑब्वियसली रिस्क कम है तो रिटर्न भी कम है. ओपन एंडेड क्लोज एंडेड फंड्स, which is riskier?
Ma'am, open-ended funds. Open-ended funds. Sorry.
Why do you say close?
बिकॉज मैम उसमें कभी भी एग्जिट नहीं कर सकते हैं.
पर स्टॉक एक्सचेंज में आप जाके बेच तो सकते हैं.
यस मैम, लेकिन ओपन एंडेड में तो हम कभी भी अगर हमें आइडेंटिफाई हो जाता है कि हमें लॉस होने वाला है, तो हम अपना पैसा निकाल सकते हैं.
करेक्ट. सो यू एग्री कि लिक्विडिटी कम होती है तो रिस्क ज्यादा होता है, राइट? और लिक्विडिटी और रिटर्न का क्या वो है? लिक्विडिटी और रिटर्न
Inversely proportional.
Correct. So close ended funds theoretically will give you better returns. Okay? So यहाँ ये ठीक है. Open ended funds have significant benefit of liquidity. That means people can buy and exit anytime. So option of getting back the current value of unit holding from the scheme. The unit will be bought back by the scheme at the NAV less exit. However, close-ended funds cannot be given back to the AMC. With the fund manager, you will have to necessarily sell it on the stock exchange for liquidity. So close-ended schemes offer liquidity through a listing in stock exchange. The price of units of close-ended scheme in the stock exchange tends to be lower than the NAV. अब इसमें कौन से ज्यादा रिस्की होंगे? सबसे ज्यादा रिस्की कौन से होंगे? सेक्टर फंड, थीमेटिक फंड, डाइवर्सिफाइड फंड, कौन से सबसे ज्यादा
सेक्टर
रिस्की?
फंड मैम।
ओके,
Ma'am,
उसके बाद
because it invests in only specific sectors.
मैम
उसके
यहाँ पे
बाद मैम
कंसंट्रेटेड
थेमेटिक
है क्योंकि डाइवर्सिफिकेशन नहीं है ना.
करेक्ट करेक्ट
थेमेटिक्स मैम.
yes, correct. So sector fund, thematic fund and diversified fund rated in terms of reducing risk. So diversified fund, as the name suggests, they invest in various kind of stocks, so they diversify the risk. Sector funds invest only in one kind of stock, so risk is more, concentration risk is there. Thematic risk are lesser risky than sector fund because they diversify to certain extent in the same industry, whereas diversified funds diversify across industries, so they are least risky. So the presence of multi-sector exposure in a diversified market makes it less risky than sector fund. Diversified fund should be part of the core portfolio of every investor. Sector funds, investors who are comfortable with risk can invest in sector funds. Thematic fund, some investors are more comfortable identifying promising investment themes rather than specific sectors. Such investors can decide on investment themes that they would like to buy. ये हम बहुत बार कर चुके हैं, पता नहीं अभी तक आपका कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर हुआ है कि नहीं. लार्ज कैप, मिड कैप, स्मॉल कैप. लार्ज कैप मतलब लार्ज मार्केट कैपिटलाइजेशन. तो दो पैरामीटर्स हैं, दो वेरिएबल्स हैं, स्टॉक प्राइस एंड नंबर ऑफ शेयर्स आउटस्टैंडिंग. तो ये ज्यादा होगा तो भी मार्केट कैप ज्यादा होगा, ये ज्यादा होगा तो भी मार्केट कैप ज्यादा होगा. So large cap companies are companies where the stock prices is high and the number of shares are also more. So these are older companies. Mid cap companies would have the market capitalization somewhere in between. So stock price is not as high as large cap, and even number of shares outstanding might not be as as many as the large cap companies. And small cap are smaller, newer companies. So when we say smaller companies, they are newer companies. They have a lot of scope to grow, but as of now, the market capitalization is low because of low stock price and low number of shares. तो अगर आप विप्रो का देखो तो उन्होंने बीच में बोनस इशू किया, राइट्स इशू किया. इससे क्या होता है? इससे नंबर ऑफ आउटस्टैंडिंग शेयर्स बढ़ते हैं. जब नंबर ऑफ आउटस्टैंडिंग शेयर्स बढ़ेंगे तो मार्केट कैपिटलाइजेशन भी बढ़ेगा. और इसमें रिस्क किस हिसाब से होगा?
Ma'am, small cap, then mid cap, then large cap.
सबसे रिस्क
स्मॉल कैप में ज्यादा होगा.
Large cap
Small
is
cap,
less
yeah.
risky.
Yes, less. Large cap is least risky. So large cap funds, sources strength of large cap fund. Frontline stocks help them survive during economic turmoil. Many mid cap, small cap companies fall by the wayside because they lack the resources to survive. Over a long period of time, some of the mid cap or small cap companies will become large companies whose stock gets re-rated in the market. The healthy return on such stocks can boost the return on mid cap and small cap. So it is only about time when mid cap turns to small cap turns to mid cap and then turns to large cap. So we've seen growth versus value. Growth का मतलब है fund manager is looking at capital appreciation. So he will invest in companies जहाँ पे scope of capital appreciation is high, which are small cap companies. Whereas value fund tries to invest in companies where their share prices valued less. So book value से comparison में share price कम है. So इसमें से कौन ज्यादा रिस्की होगा? वैल्यू की ग्रोथ?
Growth.
Yes, growth is more risky. So in the initial phases of bull run, growth rose tends to offer good returns over a period of time. As the growth stocks get fully valued, value funds tend to perform better. So value are looking at the fundamental analysis कि आपकी कंपनी बहुत अच्छा परफॉर्म कर रही है. So investment in value fund yields better benefits over longer periods. In a market correction, the growth funds can decline much more than value fund. Also, when you are investing, you have to look at fund size, क्योंकि जितना fund size होगा, जितना बड़ा fund size होगा, उतना ज़्यादा उनके पास diversification का scope होगा. So the size of the funds need to be seen in context of proposed investment. Thus, a sector fund with net assets of 1,000 crore is likely to find investment challenging if all the companies in sector together are worth only rupees 10,000 crores. Then portfolio turnover. कितनी जल्दी जल्दी फंड मैनेजर आपका सिक्योरिटीज चेंज कर रहा है. ऑब्वियसली अगर सिक्योरिटीज ज्यादा जल्दी जल्दी चेंज कर रहा है तो आपका एक्सपेंसिव भी ज्यादा होगा. सो यू आल्सो हैव टू लुक एट पोर्टफोलियो टर्नओवर, because the purchase and sale of securities entails broking cost for the scheme. Frequent churning of portfolio would not only add to the broking cost but also be indicative of unsteady investment management. So portfolio turnover ratio is calculated as value of purchase and sale of securities during a period divided by average size of assets of scheme during the period. तो कितनी बार बेचा और खरीदा है. Also active portfolio में portfolio turnover ज्यादा बड़ा होगा. So we've seen arbitrage fund. They are not meant for equity risk exposure, but do lock into better risk return relationship than liquid fund. The ride on the tax benefit that the equity scheme offer. Domestic equity versus international equity, कौन ज्यादा risky होगा?
मैम इंटरनेशनल इक्विटी.
इंटरनेशनल
और risk add हो जाएगा currency rate risk, right?
यस मैम.
So when an Indian investor invests in equities abroad, he is essentially taking two exposures: an exposure on international equity market and an exposure to the exchange rate of the rupee. So if the investor is investing in the US, the US dollar becomes stronger during the period of this investment, he benefits. If the US dollar weakens, he loses, or the portfolio returns are lower. So some people might have some reasons to invest abroad because he might feel that overall returns will be attractive. And he's taking an asset allocation call to diversify his investment to reduce risk. Then debt funds, we've seen debt funds are less risky than equity fund. And they are structured in various ways to meet useful investors' needs. However, as we've seen, debt funds are not completely risky. There are some risk associated with them, like liquidity risk or inflation risk or interest rate risk. So there are different kind of risks associated with debt funds. Now in hybrid funds, you also have an MIP or monthly income plan. So they generate monthly income for customers, okay, for investors. Now, how do they generate income? They don't generate income only by investing in debt. They also invest in equity so that they can generate a reasonable return for the investor. Okay, so MIP have an element of equity in its portfolio. In case the customer does not want to have exposure to equity, obviously he should not invest in MIP. So debt funds can also be open-ended. That means it will offer you more liquidity. Or you can have FMPs or fixed maturity plan, where they will have a investment horizon. So the investor has to check his investment horizon and then invest in the FNP. So an investor who's likely to require the fund anytime would be better off investing in normal open-ended debt fund, whereas FMP is ideal for investors. Investment horizon is in sync with maturity of the scheme, and the investors is looking for a predictable return. And obviously, he'll get a superior return than fixed deposit. So then we can see different kind of so we've seen it can be diversified debt. So diversified debt would mean that they invest both in government securities and non-government securities. Now, non-government securities are superior than government securities, non-government securities, because they are safer, whereas non-government securities will offer better yields. So diversified debt funds, government securities, which are safer with respect to risk on default. Non-government securities offer higher yield but are subject to credit risk. Gilt funds, as we have seen, they invest only in government securities. Obviously, they cannot generate very good return because the risk is less. So gilt fund cannot generate as superior gains as diversified mutual fund scheme that manages its credit risk well, can generate. Then you can have long-term debt fund, short-term debt fund. Which is riskier? Which is riskier?
Ma'am, long-term
debt.
debt fund.
Correct.
Because there is more volatility.
Yes, correct. So lower term debt securities fluctuate more than shorter term debt securities. Therefore, NAV of long term debt funds tend to be more volatile than those of short term debt funds. Shorter term debt securities are comparatively more stable. So long term debt funds are better if the interest rates are declining. Whereas short term is when the fund manager expects the interest rate would rise in the coming time, then short term bonds will offer better returns. So as the rate rises, the short term bonds would mature, allowing the fund manager to deploy the proceeds in higher return. And this we have seen when the interest rate go down, the value of the security increases. Then you have money market or liquid scheme. As the name suggests, they invest in money market securities or short-term debt. So when investors seeking the lowest risk ought to go for liquid scheme. However, the return in such instrument are lower. Just that is not advisable to keep all one's money in saving bank account. Some money needs to go into fixed deposit in order to improve return. Similarly, all of one's mutual fund investment should not be in liquid scheme. Hence, there is a need to invest in other schemes, debt schemes, and also equity. So for better return, you have to invest in equity as well. Then in debt scheme, you can have regular debt funds or floaters. Now, floaters क्या है? Changing. So we have seen floating interest rate. Okay. So regular debt funds are subject to risk of fluctuation in NAV. When the interest rate scenario is unclear, then regular debt funds can be risky option. Floating rate debt securities tend to hold their value even if the interest rate fluctuate. Hence, the NAV of floater tends to be steady. When the interest rate scenario is unclear, then floaters are a safer option. In a rising interest rate scenario, floaters can be considered as an alternative to short-term debt funds and liquid funds. Then you have balance. Balance we have seen. What do they try to balance? What are the fund manager trying to balance in a balanced fund?
Ma'am, equity and debt into 60 and 40 in ratio
No,
of
not
60 and
necessarily
40.
60 and 40. No. What are they trying to balance?
They are trying to balance
Risk and return.
Yes, they're trying to balance risk and return by having a combination of debt and equity. Now, what
To minimize the risk.
it will vary. ऐसा नहीं कि हमेशा 60-40 होगा. If it is a debt oriented scheme, then 65 debt होगा. So ratio fix नहीं है. They try to manage the debt and or अगर flexible asset allocation है, तो अगर equity is not doing well, then the fund manager would invest in debt. So ratio fix नहीं है, but they invest in both asset classes to balance the risk and return. Yes, Rahul, you were saying something? Rahul, आप कुछ कह रहे थे?
To minimize the risk.
Yes, to minimize the risk and maximize the return.
Ma'am, the ratio can be changed. Ma'am, the
Yes,
ratio can be changed.
Yes, we have seen
Okay,
fixed
ma'am.
asset allocation and we have seen flexible asset allocation. No?
Okay.
So investor desirous of having a mix of debt and equity exposure has two options. He can invest in mix of equity scheme and debt scheme. He can invest in balance scheme, which in turn invest in a mix of equity and debt. And it is also good, as we have seen, diversification is always good for managing your risk. So the investor would need to go by debt equity mix in investment portfolio of the scheme. Balance schemes may be taxed as a debt scheme or equity scheme depending on the scheme investment portfolio. The two categories scheme have completely different tax implication. याद है क्या है tax implication है? Debt scheme को कौन सा tax देना पड़ता है? याद नहीं किसी को. Dividend distribution tax.
D.
Equity को कौन सा देना होता है? Equity को कौन सा देना?
Security transaction type.
वो तो इक्विटी में होता है.
हाँ, सिक्योरिटी ट्रांजैक्शन टैक्स इक्विटी पे होता है और डिविडेंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन टैक्स डेट पे होता है. ठीक है. अब गोल्ड फंड भी है. अंडरलाइंग सिक्योरिटी क्या है? गोल्ड. नाउ गोल्ड ईटीएफ बेसिकली इन्वेस्ट इन गोल्ड, whereas gold sector fund will invest in companies dealing in gold. So gold ETFs are exchange traded funds that passively track the performance of gold bullion, unlike the performance of these gold ETFs that would track the price of gold. Gold sector fund scheme invest in shares of gold mining and gold processing companies. The performance of these gold sector funds is linked to profitability and gold reserves of these gold companies. So ये दो तरीके हैं to invest in gold, either in gold sector funds which invest in equity of gold mining and gold processing company, or in gold ETF which track the price of the gold. So when gold metal prices go up, gold mining companies with large reserves of gold can appreciate a lot more than gold metal. Conversely, they may also fall when gold metal prices decline. Now, तो ये तो हमने देख लिया कि स्कीम कौन सा सेलेक्ट करें. Now, if I'm young, I'm looking for capital appreciation, I will definitely go for equity. But I'm old, I'm retired, I don't want to take any risk on my principal. I'll go for a debt scheme. So ये तो हमने देख लिया कि स्कीम हमको देखना है. अब as we've seen, there will be many categories of scheme. Now किस तरह से हम सेलेक्ट करें, उसके लिए हमें ये सारी चीजें देखनी है. फंड एज, scheme running expense, regular income yield, tracking error. Okay, so tracking error is the difference between the benchmark and the benchmark return and the return of the fund. So these are the things which we have to see. So NAV अगर आप देखो, NAV यहाँ पे कहीं भी नहीं आ रहा है. Okay, so you have to look at these things. So if you want to take a lesser risk, then you can take an older fund. So a fund with long history has a track record and that can be studied. A new fund managed by a portfolio manager with a lackluster track record is definitely avoidable. Fund age is especially important for equity shares where there are more investment options and divergence of performance of scheme within the same category tends to be more. Consistency is the key, that we all know. Investing में consistency is the key. Running expense में क्या देखना है? Running expense क्यों देखना है और क्या देखना है? क्या बताता है आपको running expense?
Ma'am, running
Ma'am,
expense
transaction cost,
transaction charges.
commission, transaction cost.
Yes, ma'am. Transaction charges.
And
So,
we need to look at this because it will directly affect our returns.
yes.
Higher
it
the
will
expense,
directly-
lower will the return.
Yes. High scheme running expenses will reduce your return. So you also have to look at scheme running charges. So any cost is a drag on investor returns. Investors need to be particularly careful about the cost structure of the debt scheme because in the normal course, debt returns can be much lower than equity schemes. Similarly, since index funds follow a passive investment strategy, a high structure is questionable in such schemes. So depending on the scheme you are investing, you will also look at the scheme expense. Equity portfolio, for example, an equity scheme would definitely have a higher expense than debt scheme. Okay, so if a debt scheme is charging you too much, then it should be avoided. Tracking error. So this is how your fund has performed vis-a-vis the index. Tracking error is basis to select the better scheme. Lower the tracking error, the better it is. So gold ETF need to be selected based on how well they track gold prices. So scheme income comes out of regular income like dividend, interest, and capital gains. Risk return and risk adjusted return form the basis of mutual fund research agencies. Investors should understand the broad parameters before taking decision based on the ranking rating of any agency. Investors need to bear in mind that the ranking and categories are based on historic performance, which may or may not be repeated in future. So this we have seen in mutual funds or any kind of investment, except for debt or fixed income, where the returns are predictable. You cannot know or you cannot predict the future performance, and historic performance are not a real indicator, might not be a real indicator of the future performance. Also, he has to look at loads. Higher the load, lesser would be lesser would be the return. Then you have different kind of investment options like the SWP. So you have to look at the taxation, liquidity, DDT, irregular income, capital gain. So taxation and liquidity also need to be factored in for deciding between the options. So these are some agencies which provide the rating, which can be seen. However, this is not the data is not certified, but they can offer you some insight into the performance. Okay, so now let's have a quiz. Equity market are more predictable in the long term than short, true or false? Khushbu?
True.
Yes, ma'am. True.
True. Yeah, correct. Because long term, equity will give you profit, but short term, be sure about it. Arbitrage funds are meant to give better equity risk exposure.
False.
False. Ma'am, false.
Which can you compare with the liquid scheme?
Ma'am, gilt funds. Gilt funds.
No. What is liquid?
easily convertible into cash?
So which one is
Ma'am,
easily
it's
convertible?
a savings bank account.
Saving bank account. Bank.
So saving bank account. Saving bank account is comparable to liquid scheme. Which of the following aspect of portfolio would an investor in debt scheme give most importance?
Ma'am, is it be weighted average maturity?
Yes,
it is
ma'am.
weighted average.
C.
Yeah. So sector selection, stock selection, number of securities in the portfolio would not have much relevance to a debt scheme. Correct. Mutual fund ranking and rating amount to the same thing.
No, it's different. False.
False. Correct.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yes.
Ma'am, can you please elaborate this a little? I mean, difference between ranking and rating, because I was literally very confused after seeing this question. So I want this to be cleared, please.
Okay. So rating will also take into consideration the risk associated. You know.
Yes, ma'am.
So one of it will only look at the returns, for example, but the other would also look at the risk.
Ma'am, can we put it in this way that rating would also consider the risk, whereas ranking would consider more than on a competition, like
Yes.
when compared to others.
Correct.
मैम रेटिंग गिवन बाय कस्टमर या इन्वेस्टर?
No, rating is not given. These are all given by agencies. Ranking would be, yeah. Okay, now selecting the right investment product for the investor. So they can be physical assets. So physical asset में क्या क्या आता है?
Ma'am, equity, gold.
Physical asset है. Equity.
Equity is not a physical asset.
Sorry,
Ma'am,
no.
Gold.
Gold is real
And
estate.
Commodities, real estate.
Commodities, gold or real estate. Or financial assets are everything else. So your equity, debt, government securities, bank deposits, all are financial products. Cash is your physical assets if you have it in hand. So investor is a physical asset, draws comfort from the fact that assets is in the investor possession or under the investor's control in a locker. Financial assets, on the other hand, can depend on the investee companies. So the difference in comfort is perhaps a reason why nearly half the wealth of Indian is locked in physical asset. So most of us invest in real estate and gold. However, a physical asset is completely gone or loses substantial value when stolen, or if there is fire, flood, or some such hazard. An investor can always go to the investee company or bank or mutual fund where the money is invested and claim the entitlement based on the record of the investee company and other documentary evidence. And a dematerialization makes these processes a lot simpler. So ये आपके physical assets है. Investors' money in land, art, rare coins, or gold does not benefit the economy that we have seen. However, money invested in financial assets, example equity shares, debentures, bank deposit, can be productive for the economy. So you have RBI and SEBI. We have seen these. They have policies in place to cater to the interest of government in converting physical assets to financial assets. So आपने देखा होगा कि SEBI के अब बहुत सारे advertisements भी आते हैं for investing in mutual funds. There are many facilities offered by mutual funds for investing. It can be SIP, it can be STP, it can be SWP. So I hope all of you remember. So एक एक करके बताओ मुझे. सिद्धार्थ SIP बताओ. राहुल STP बताओ और खुशबू SWP बताओ. क्या है ये? SIP क्या है?
हेलो.
हाँ सिद्धार्थ बताओ SIP क्या है?
हाँ मैम, आवाज आ रही है मैम?
हाँ आ रही है.
मैम SIP मतलब सिस्टमेटिक इन्वेस्टमेंट प्लान है.
हाँ उसका मतलब क्या है?
मैम जैसे जो इन्वेस्ट करते हैं मार्केट में म्यूचुअल फंड में, तो उसमें दो टाइप का, जैसे एक लमसम कर सकते हैं या SIP कर सकते हैं. SIP मतलब मंथली हम अपने हिसाब से जितना जमा करना चाहे.
Correct. So SIP is investment, systematic investment over a long period of time. Small amounts over a long period of time. Good. Rahul, STP क्या है?
हेलो.
हाँ नहीं याद. अर्पिता बताओ STP क्या है?
STP refers to systematic transfer plan,
हेलो.
which
यस मैम.
which
हेलो.
Rahul, you want to add?
हेलो
Yes, now.
मैम, पता है आवाज नहीं जा रही है.
आवाज आ रही है यहाँ. राहुल की आवाज आ रही है.
यस मैम, आवाज आ रही मेरी.
हाँ
आ रही है.
मैम सिस्टमेटिक ट्रांसफर प्लान.
हाँ सिस्टमेटिक ट्रांसफर प्लान का क्या मतलब है?
मैम ट्रांसफरिंग मनी फॉर वन म्यूचुअल फंड टू अनदर.
One scheme to another. You can't change the mutual fund, only change the scheme.
Yes ma'am.
So STP means changing your asset allocation from one scheme to another scheme over a long period of time. Okay. और खुशबू SWP क्या है?
Ma'am, SWP is a systematic withdrawal plan. It gives liquidity to the investor. Investor can withdraw amount anytime.
Okay, good.
It is for open-ended.
Yes. So SIP and STP promote an investment discipline which is used for long-term wealth creation and protection. SWP allows the investor to, So such systematic approaches like SIP and STP promote an investment discipline. SWP allows the investor to structure regular cash flow from investor. So now gold, we have seen gold ETF is actually an investment in gold, but it is more like a financial asset because the risk of a physical assets are not relevant to gold funds. So the returns are dependent on the gold, but the risk of physical assets are minimized. So gold suffer one of the highest risk of loss through theft, storage in bank lockers to cost money. You can invest in gold also through financial engineering. You're investing in gold represented financial assets. Entire value of the contract does not need to be paid. Have a limited contract period. Open-ended schemes will no fixed maturity. The facility is of appointing nominee. So real estate is also a physical asset. where you have the risk of loss on account of fire and other hazard. Real estate in physical form is prone to few other disadvantages. For example, the ticket size or the amount of money required to buy a real estate is high. The minimum amount required for investing in real estate is high. Unless the budget is very high, the value of properties bought are very low. Investor would find it difficult to maintain a diverse portfolio of real estate, thus end up with concentration risk. And you also have the risk of encroachment is the highest for investment in land. So people can come and encroach on your property. Now, your fixed deposits are safer than your debt scheme because even if the bank fails, there is a insurance. How much is the insurance?
Ma'am, DICGC.
Huh?
DICGC.
CDC नहीं CGC है.
DICGC ना मैम.
DC.
मैम डिपॉजिट इंश्योरेंस क्रेडिट गारंटी.
Yes. Corporation of India. कितना है maximum amount?
मैम
5 lakh.
5 lakh. So ये research to be updated. So up to 5 lakh per depositor in bank across branches will be paid by the insurer. Obviously, mutual funds do not offer such insurance. And it is easier to close the deposit. However, mutual funds can give you higher return, lower tax and flexibility and choice. Then you have NPS also. NPS is regulated by Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority or PFRDA. So there are two types of account, active tier 1 account and tier 2 account. And आपके पास तीन ऑप्शन होते हैं नेशनल पेंशन स्कीम में इन्वेस्ट करने के लिए, ECG and A also now, other asset classes, alternative asset class. But E stands for equity, C stands for corporate debt, and G stands for government securities. So investment in predominantly equity market, investment in debt securities other than government securities, investment in government security, ECG. However, it will have fewer choices than mutual fund. And basically, as the name says, National Pension Scheme is for planning your pension. You have the convenience of single personal retirement account number or PRAN. So PRAN is a unique ID number for NPS investment and is portable. Thus, when an individual changes the employer or the fund, the PRAN still remains associated with the investor. It is the identity of the investor when it comes to NPS. So now quiz time. More than 50% of the wealth of Indians is held in physical assets. True or false?
True.
Gold future are superior to ETF gold as vehicle for long-term investment in gold.
True.
As regard wealth, ETF is superior to physical gold.
True.
True. True.
क्योंकि इसमें आपको कैपिटल गेन टैक्स नहीं लगेगा.
And security भी always there.
National Pension Scheme is regulated by
PFRDA.
PFRDA.
So, and investor under National Pension Scheme can choose which
All
of
of
the
the
following.
above.
D.
All of
All of them. ECG, equities, corporate debt or government securities. All of the above. Now financial planning. अभी ये financial planning हम बहुत बार देख चुके हैं. What are the how many steps do you have to financial planning? कितने steps हैं?
But 6 steps. 6 steps are there.
पहला step क्या है?
Data gathering. First is data gathering.
No.
Ma'am, customer acceptance.
Customer acceptance नहीं.
Customer identification.
Client planner relationship. You have to define what is the customer expecting from you. आपको किस direction में काम करना है? Second is data collection. Now, why do you collect the data? Data क्यों collect करना है?
मैम कस्टमर को आइडेंटिफाई करने के
It's a part of KYC, like, can we say?
यस मैम
Okay, but why is that you need it? तो सिर्फ क्या statutory requirement है KYC आपका?
मैम डिफॉल्ट होने के कम चांसेस रहते हैं इसमें
हैं? कस्टमर क्यों डिफॉल्ट करेगा भैया?
नहीं
To define investment, ma'am, to define investment objective.
Yes, to define investment objective and there is. उसके बाद क्या करेंगे? आपने डेटा कलेक्ट कर लिया, उसके बाद क्या करेंगे?
उसके बाद goal setting.
Yes.
Second will be the goal setting.
उसके बाद
Third, identification of needs. Fourth is report preparation.
Yes.
Fifth one is implementation.
Correct.
And sixth is review and revision.
Correct. Continuous monitoring. Okay. So to define a financial plan, it's a plan, obviously, systematic approach to provide the financial goals that will help people raise their needs and aspirations and be happy. So financial commitment will help you meet the financial goal. Obviously, financial goal, you have to also keep the time horizon in mind. Shorter time के लिए आप ज़्यादा risk नहीं ले सकते. You can take the risk for long time. So look at two things: time horizon to meet the goal, amount of money required to fund the goal. So these will have repercussions to your financial goal. Expense, जितना कम expense होगा उतना ज़्यादा आपके पास पैसा होगा. So how much would the expense if it were incurred today? Time, how many years down the line the expense will be incurred? How would a change in exchange rate affect the financial commitment if applicable? And what is the inflation? So again, customers can have long-term financial goals, short-term financial goals, and obviously you will have to use different instruments to achieve it. So you have to understand the year-wise financial goal statement to understand the investment horizon. And as we have seen, investment in equity is riskier in the shorter term. So risky to expect the first 3 years expense to be met out by equity investment being made today. Investment equity is a viable investment option for expense starting year 4. So your requirement is financial goal minus regular income. So for example, you have an investor who needs a sum of 5 lakhs for one of his goals in 2 years from now. How much should he invest if he expects returns of investment of 8%? So if he needs so if the investor is comfortable about meeting 1 lakh of the expense each year, the balance would need to be provided for the investment being made today. So इसमें obviously डिस्काउंट रेट भी आ जाएगा क्योंकि हमको फ्यूचर वैल्यू कैलकुलेट करना है ना, फ्यूचर का प्रेजेंट वैल्यू कैलकुलेट करना है, तो इसमें डिस्काउंट रेट भी आ जाएगा एंड नंबर ऑफ इयर्स. तो ये हम काफी कर चुके हैं. इफ यू रिमेम्बर वी हैड डन दिस exercise of calculating future value.
Yes, ma'am.
So यहाँ पे दिया if the customer requires 7,000, how much you will have to invest? You will have to take, and discount rate is 6%. So you have to invest 6,600, which will become 7,000 in future. So on and so forth. Basically, it means that whatever money you want, you have to do a back calculation to know the exact investment requirement. So equity we have seen should be invested only for time horizons more than 4 years. Obviously, inflation rate has a bearing on the real return. So higher the inflation rate, lower would be your return. So when you are calculating the return, you'll also have to look at inflation. So while the estimation of goal value calls for an assumption regarding inflation, the amount required by investors must consider the expected rate of return from the chosen investment. Now planning का benefit क्या है? Planning helps you to achieve your goal. नहीं तो आपको पता ही नहीं होता how should I achieve my goal. Okay? So financial planning enables that you have right amount of money at the right time to meet the various financial goals of the investor. And timely corrective actions can be taken. So this we have seen when we're looking at introduction. We have seen that higher saving can be achieved by lower consumption. So you have to see the difference between desire and need. So ideally we should spend money only on need, and desire should be postponed for more desirable objective of realizing aspiration, for example in this case of son becoming a doctor. Improving the future annual saving by economizing on expense and taking on extra part-time job, or influencing the spouse to take up employment for some time. Here the role of financial planners will come in. Financial planner bridge the gap in these aspects. So without a financial planner, your financial goals can be unorganized and unable to make calculation. Your financial planners will have knowledge of investing also, and taxation aspect and provision for contingencies. So financial planner is in a position to advise the investor on all the financial aspects of their life. These are the steps of financial planning. ठीक है, तो इसमें ये इम्प्लीमेंट और मॉनिटर एक में कर दिया, पर इम्प्लीमेंट और मॉनिटर अलग अलग है. So first is establish and define the client planner relationship. So is he looking for advisory, or is he looking for a comprehensive financial plan? Then gather client data, define client goal, analyze and evaluate client financial status, develop and present financial planning recommendation, then implement the recommendation and monitor the financial planning recommendation. तो ये आपको अब ये if you know the financial planning process, you will know that the first thing, you don't have to talk about the investment instrument. Investment instruments will come much later. First, you have to understand the customer requirement and the customer's financial position and his financial goal, because only then you will be able to make a plan. कहीं जाने के लिए it is first important to know where you want to go. First, you have to define what are the financial goals, what are the current status of the customer, what is his aspiration, and then only then can you develop a financial plan. So you have to remember that knowledge of the financial instrument is important, but before that, understanding the customer goals and his financial position is more important. So your comprehensive plan captures the estimate inflows from various sources and estimated outflow for various financial goals, including post-retirement living expenses. Okay, so I'll end the session here today, and tomorrow we'll try to finish life cycle and wealth cycle in financial planning, because they also have important aspect or important role to play in the financial planning. तो कल हम ये देखेंगे, and we'll try to finish mutual fund tomorrow. Tomorrow I want to finish mutual fund, क्योंकि आपका पता नहीं, पर मैं बहुत बोर हो गई हूँ mutual fund पढ़ाते. ठीक है, so tomorrow I will complete mutual fund, and then we will start with another topic. Okay. Any questions?
Oh, ma'am, yes, ma'am, I have a question.
Yes, Arpita.
मैम ये अगेन वो मैं कल एक आर्टिकल पढ़ रही थी, तो उसमें वो रेकमेंड कर रहे थे, जैसे कि वैसे आइडियली तो जो ग्रोन अप्स हैं, जो ओल्ड पीपल्स हैं, उन्हें उन्हें इन्वेस्ट नहीं करना चाहिए ना इक्विटी में. तो the guys were suggesting that site that was a bank site, I don't remember what was that. तो वो रिकमेंड कर रहे थे कि चूंकि इक्विटी शॉर्ट टर्म होते हैं तो जो ग्रोन अप्स है उनको शॉर्ट टर्म इन्वेस्टमेंट्स करने चाहिए और इक्विटी उनके लिए ज्यादा प्रेफरेबल होगी. ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है मैम?
इक्विटी में शॉर्ट टर्म नहीं होना चाहिए.
वही this is the thing I wanted to ask. The guys were
Maybe I want to
suggesting
say you can diversify in equity.
हाँ,
So they
but
can
short term
diversify.
equity, ma'am, are there some, is there anything like short term equity?
Equity cannot be short term actually, because if you're investing in a company, it will take some time for it to grow. So if you can share that article, share it with me. I'll also read and try to find out what they're trying to say.
Yeah,
Ideally,
I'll try to find if I get that back. I'll be sharing. I was also very confused कि ये कैसे हो सकते हैं, मतलब short term equity. So I was thinking
maybe
that
I
maybe
will
there
not
is
say
something
that,
which I
people should not invest in equity
yeah,
at all.
ideally,
They can take
ideally
diversification.
retired people should not invest in equity. What I think, what I have read. They can conclude,
Yes.
but they guys were suggesting so. I'll try to find that article and I'll be sharing with you.
Yeah. So they can invest for diversification. They can do some investment, but I don't know what is short-term equity they're talking about.
Yeah, that is the thing. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Chalo, bye-bye.
Have a nice day, ma'am. Thank you.